और निहायत रहम करने वाला है। Welcome to Petroleum Club of Pakistan technical webinar series. Today the topic is enterprise risk management, and we will learn how the ERM supports the better structure, reporting and analysis of organizational risk. Enterprise risk register can improve the focus of directors and executives by providing the data that enables better risk mitigation. The ERM is holistic approach of risk management instead of working in silos. The guest speaker for today is Mr. Naeem Ahmed Subhani, and currently he is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, Safety Consultant. He is a seasoned safety professional with 35 years of professional experience working for the private sector organizations in Pakistan, Middle East, USA and Canada. Having master's degree in mechanical engineering, MBA, diploma in health and safety management from the British Safety Council UK, and the certified safety professional from the US board. So I will request Mr. Naeem to please start the session. Naeem Saab, over to you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm really grateful to Petroleum Club of Pakistan for giving me the opportunity to express my point of view on enterprise risk management, which is a very important tool for the management to analyze the enterprise risks and upgrade their systems. Why I'm talking on this subject? Because it's my strength. I have worked for Kuwait Foreign Petroleum Exploration Company, KOFPEC, for 7 years, and we have practiced this ERM in this organization successfully, and I have good command on this subject. That's why I'm talking on the subject. The same subject was covered in annual technical conference also, which is run by SPE and PAPG. So the same subject was shared, or the presentation was shared on that platform as well. So it's an important subject and relatively new subject, because most of the organizations still don't understand the meaning of enterprise risk management. And the purpose of this presentation and today's session is to make the organizations understand the utilization of this ERM and its benefit to the organization for a better performance, better productivity, and less risk taking. There are many things which will come, the new terms you will see in my presentation. There will be many things which you might not understand, but the purpose of this presentation is not to make you a master of this subject, but just to share my knowledge and to make you understand that how it can affect, or it can help, or benefit the organization in totality. If we talk of the basis of this enterprise risk management, I can simply say that we started with fire risk assessment in early days, in early 80s, we used to talk of fire safety only. But in 80s, we started working on safety. Then it progressed to health and safety, and then environment. So we talked of HSE, and the risk was initially only in silos. The security risk will be calculated differently. The health and safety risk will be calculated differently. The financial risk will be differently. So all departments used to work in silos in different domains. The purpose of this enterprise risk management is to merge all these areas at one platform, and whole organization should be sitting together. All the stakeholders should be at one platform, talking to each other and integrating their efforts and integrating their resources so that the risk can be minimized to the lowest level and organization can further grow. So it helps in the decision making for the organization. So that's why it is considered as a nice tool and purpose. Okay, so the ERM, when we talk of enterprise risk management, it doesn't talk only of risk. It talks of opportunities as well, because in real scenario there are many risks which can impact adversely, and there are many opportunities that emerge and help the organization in some cases. So risk is always not a loss or potential for loss. Rather, it is an opportunity for gain as well. So we will talk of losses as well as opportunities that help the organization to improve. And when we calculate the risk, it is in different terms. I will talk in later slides that how it works and how it impacts the organization. Some risks are short term, some risks are long term. So then we segregate the organization, understand that which are the priorities for the organization, and how to address the risks in different priority. So it's not only the HSE, health, safety, and environment. Rather, it covers overall. It will cover the security. It will cover the exchange rate. It will cover the overall political situation. It will cover the geopolitical situation. I mean, there are many factors which can impact the corporate sector, big organizations. So if the organization is able to calculate those risks in form of a risk register, that really actually helps the organization to make good decisions, and the business continuity can be ensured, the business disruption can be minimized, the assets can be protected from different situations. So that is the way the organization can very nicely progress and make more profits. So few of the organizations I have heard, they have this ERM in place, but many of the organizations still don't understand the purpose. So I believe these slides are not the rocket science. These are simple words. All the purpose of this presentation is to engage you and to make you understand. You can find this knowledge on the internet. You can just click ERM and you will find a lot of presentations and many things. But it is to convince you that it really helps you. So if you want to learn ERM and if you want to implement this ERM in your organization, yes, there are people, very few people in Pakistan. Usually they come from outside, from other countries, but there are few people like myself who can help understand the organizations to set up their ERM system in their organizations, and definitely it helps. So it's a relatively a new concept, but not that new. So you can find a lot of material, a lot of experience that different organizations have learned with time. Look at the overall risks which have been captured in the ERM. It talks of strategic risk, it talks of technology risk, IT risk, human resource, information technology, the operational risk, the regulatory risk, market risk, health and safety, credit risk. I mean, you name it. So all kind of risks have been put into one place, so that you can get the total picture of the holistic situation of the organization, and the decisions can be made, and good decisions can be made, so that the profitability can be ensured and disruption and losses can be minimized. So that will so look at the overall picture, that all kind of risks are at one place, so the organization can very quickly understand that where we stand. Usually in health and safety risk assessment and HSE risk assessment in terms of impact, that impact not necessarily financial impact, but ERM particularly talks of financial impact. So when we talk of financial impact, means every asset, every risk is categorized and gauged or measured in terms of financial impact. So we have a scale. I will show you the scale, how the risks have been gauged on that scale, and look at, so many risks have huge impacts and many risks have less impact. So those will come later, the categories will come later, but always the ERM is always linked with the financial. So in many companies, the ERM is only served or only managed by the finance department, And in early days, the financial companies or financial, they would use the ERM. But now the corporate sector is also using, like Kuwait Petroleum and KOFPEC, the Kuwait Foreign Petroleum Exploration, they have been using it successfully, and they have gained a lot of experience with time, and it helped them in decision making. And I've been using this tool for quite some time, and I know the benefit of using it. Look at the picture; it is symbolic. I mean, it's the umbrella. Umbrella means the umbrella is covering many things, right? So usually it is only ERM that is the risk management. But when we talk of enterprise risk management, it starts from the top to bottom approach, which is a management system. It means it starts with the leadership and governance from the top level. Then you set the standards and objectives, and then you integrate the risk management activities which are working independently, but now you integrate them into one place. So all comes under one umbrella. And in the last, which is the basically internal control activities. So all the control activities are under the same umbrella. So a team is formed in an organization which works. So this is called a risk committee in companies. I will show you how it is formed, who is who in that committee. So the risk committee really helps the organizations to consolidate or integrate independent risk management and independent controls. So it really helps the organization to, it saves the cost as well. Because when we consolidate everything, so people working in silos may be using more time, but working together, it saves times as well and resources as well, and good decision making can be made. Potential risk can be many. It could be marketplace, it could be company reputation, it could be credit rating, it could be health, safety, and environment. So many things, financials also. So these are different kind of risks which the companies are exposed to, and it covers natural catastrophe and climate as well, because that can impact also geopolitical risks also. So many factors are actually impacting the organization. So those all to be catered under the ERM, and a whole risk register is formed, and that serves the company to decide. Many of the risks are manageable, but some of the risks are really not manageable, but still you have to work. Like in oil and gas exploration, you take the calculated risk when you go for the seismic, when you go for the drilling. So that is a calculated risk. So you never work in blind. So that calculated risk is considered as a risk appetite. How much risk appetite is with the management? So management decides that risk, we can take this much risk. So that becomes a benchmark. Yes, we can further grow, and there are probabilities that they will make profit. So risk appetite is very important. Is a good term to use in this ERM. So the management they understand that how the risk is calculated and how much risk they can take without impacting the organization adversely. And then risk mitigation also. There are many things which can happen. It talks of staffing also. It talks of diversifying business, divesting the business, acquisitions, purchasing additional insurance. So there are many things which they can do it, training and development also. So there are many mitigation strategies that the organizations can invest so that the risks are under their control and within their appetite. They do not go beyond their control. So the risk mitigation is always there whenever you talk of risk control. So risk mitigation is associated. Every risk has some mitigation. So there are many things which can happen, and the risks can be. And the very important thing is strengthening the risk culture. When we talk of risk culture, really it matters to every employee of the company that when we talk of culture in any society, all the citizens, everybody in the country or in any society, they have to think alike. They have to they have the same standards, they have the same vision and thinking. So this is risk culture that all the employees, all the management members, they should have very clear understanding that they should calculate the risk for everything. I mean, in common life or in real life, everybody takes calculated risk. So same is valid for the organizations, that they have to also take calculated risk. So risk culture is very important, and the all the certification now, the ISO certifications, whether we talk of HSE, whether we talk of risk management or social accountability, and many others are happening, energy also. So these all standards actually are moving around risk. So risk management is the key for all the standards. So the risk culture has to be strengthened in the organization, so that the organization should not face any surprise, any disaster, anything that was not anticipated. So things should be forecasted, and everything shall be calculated. So there should be no surprise for the organization, and there should be no failure, big failure to start with. Okay, so risk preferences, there are terms used: risk averse, risk neutral. There is another term, risk seeking, and these are different terms. No need to go into the details of these definitions, but these terms will be utilized so that people can understand that how things move. So risk appetite comes under risk seeking. It means we are taking more risk. Risk averse is a low level, which is I will further show you another slide where it is rated that which kind of risk is low, medium, and high, and how we calculate. In early days when I started working on an ERM, the HSE was shown at a very low level. So I was surprised that we talk of HSE at a high level and ERM says at very low level. But then I realized that it is related with the cost, financial impacts. So the investment and the acquisition and the exploration investment, that comes under the high risk. Then the operations, when we talk of field operation or plant operation, those come under medium risk. And when we talk of HSE and security, they come under lower risk. So because of cost impact. So the cost impact is always key. The organization people, they have to keep in mind what's the financial impact of that. So that's the way it is rated and it is categorized. If you look at the oil and gas model, delay risk means the project delays due to some reason, maybe due to community issues, maybe due to natural disaster or calamities or whatever. So there are delay risks, there are operational risks. Due to some reason, the operations cannot be continued. The technology risk sometimes, the OPEX uncertainty. So, and on the other side, the financial risk, the political risk, and the market risk, because the oil prices, for example, energy prices. In reality, we talk of energy prices. So that actually impacts that. That has to be taken into account. So these are the risks which are actually impacting the decision making and should be taken into consideration and calculated. Okay, another risk model which you have to keep in mind that it talks of stakeholder risk, the project risk, the market and financial risk, the operational risk, and the portfolio or business risk. So these are different risks, talking of HSSC, technology, operational risk, exchange rate, maybe the crude price, for example, or energy price in general, reputational risk. Reputational risk is on the top because the company or the corporate sector is very touchy about their reputation, because reputation maintenance or keeping their reputation high level is very, very important. So anything that happens and that can impact the reputation is very difficult to regain. So the organization should look at the reputation on the top, right? If we talk of short-term and long-term, these are operational performance, reputation, and brand risk, health and safety. And long-term is geopolitics, human capital, viability, environment, and sustainability. I mean, these are different ratings and different categorization or thinking about long-term and short-term risk, but all the risks should be catered, and the mitigation measures have to be calculated. And there is a priority that which risk has to be addressed on the top, and then which has to be addressed on a later stage. So that actually depends on the organization, how they look at the risk and how they address them, and how they actually minimize the impact of them through mitigation measures. Then you can develop some plan that it could be internal analysis or it could be external analysis. External analysis means global ERM benchmarks. You can look at the big corporate sector, and you can look at the big companies, how they are benchmarking the global ERM, and then what are the practices other companies are doing. And within the company, you can risk analyze. I mean, you can do the risk analysis within the company and do the mitigation measures, and then brainstorming that how to cater the risk, how to minimize the impact of those risks, which is important for the organization. So you have to develop a plan, and you have to define things. Define the risk committees, set up their meetings, periodic meetings. In ERM, in COPEC, we use tools to revise or reassess the risk register annually. So every year there will be few risks added into the risk register, few of the risks would be deleted from the risk register. But overall, the risk register would carry like 25 risks in totality. So periodic means you can review the risk register maybe 6 monthly, but in fact we practiced that every year we used to sit together, all the departments, everybody would sit, the management would sit, and we would calculate the risk, and we will look at how we talk of exploration of the oil and gas. If we are talking of we are working in a high risk area, definitely the security risk I'm talking about. The security risk high means cost is high. The risk is